Paula, and it's Thursday, September 3rd. And our guest today is Dan Singer, the city manager of the city of Santa Paula. Always great to talk to Dan, and we cover so much space, as it were, you know, as far as what's going on with the city and everything. So nice seeing you, Dan.
You too.
Yeah, and let's start out with what's going on. There's a lot going on with the state and the COVID guidelines and all that. How's that affecting businesses?
Yeah, it's kind of an ever-evolving scenario. So the latest is that the state has changed their approach to the kind of reopening of business. Unfortunately, Ventura County still sits on their what would be called their watch list. So yeah, we're in the purple category, which is something we want to get off of as soon as possible and move to a red category. But thankfully, as of Tuesday, the 1st of September, the salons and barbershops in town are allowed to reopen indoors, provided that they're registered with the county and follow, of course, all of the health guidelines. So I noticed today on my walk down Main Street, we still have some salons that are working outside. I think that's partly just to draw attention to it. It's kind of a novelty.
Oh, sure.
And to enjoy the nice weather, right? And the good breeze. I think by this weekend, when it's 105, they'll be back indoors.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of shaved heads.
Yes. So that's really positive. You know, the challenge is our numbers are getting better and better, but the way the state formula works is we'll have to have essentially 3 consecutive weeks of improved numbers once we hit the criteria that they're aiming for, and we're getting closer to that criteria.
And is that 50 cases a day?
I think it's 63 technically. Okay. Under that, or under 60 or something.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not really, you know, comparatively speaking, because, you know, when we had those spikes in July and different times that we've had spikes. Now, I know that there's been, I know that recreation department is really picking up on things, and I find that's good. Yeah. But could you repeat, though, that the park equipment is still not playable at this point in time?
So we are keeping the play equipment closed. There are people using it. We've taken down the tape and whatnot, and we are trying to clean them, but we really recommend people don't have their kids on the play structures at this point. We hope that'll change soon. This weekend's Labor Day weekend, and the county is very concerned of spikes because of too many gatherings. So we're going to close the parking lots in our parks, really discourage large groups from using them. The parks themselves will be open, as they always have been. And we are doing a lot of recreation classes. So some of our senior activities have come back into fashion. The folklorico dance classes. We're doing an art class. So go check out our website, spcity.org. Or .com, and you can look under Parks and Recreation. There's a button right on the home page you can click on and go check out what's going on if you want to get your kids or your seniors involved in some activities.
Oh, that's wonderful, though, that they're starting that stuff up again. And of course, all the COVID guidelines and social distancing and the masks or face coverings or whatever. So, but
lots of cleaning. Yeah,
and cleaning and the whole thing. So yeah, absolutely. Now, still doing street work. I'm looking down streets and I see street work going on, and I know my own street outside the office here is looking pretty darn good, you know. So
yeah, we're not done yet. We were able to save some money and really squeeze in 2 cycles in 1 year, one summer. You know, that work started early, kind of late spring and early summer, and then it kind of concluded in early July. Well, now we're back with this second phase. We're going to see some large projects done over the next 6 weeks or so. September into early October, we should be done. That'll include parts of Harvard Boulevard, although not the core part, which I know is horrible and everyone wants to be tops on the list. We did submit for a federal grant for Harvard. It's a $25 million grant. We'll find out this month, actually, whether we're successful or not. And there'll be other arterials, Peck Road being one of them, smaller streets like Ojai Road.
Explain what an arterial is.
So an arterial is a larger street, not a residential street. It tends to be a collector that goes in between larger traffic corridors. So things like Harvard Boulevard, the highway, Peck Road, those are our larger arterials.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, those are the ones that most people use, and they're the ones that they look as examples of the roads in the city. So yeah, and they're primarily used by out-of-towners too. So there's heavier
truck traffic and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. What should people do if they see a lot of truck traffic in a residential area? I've gotten several phone calls on that, and I hadn't had a chance to ask you or Cleet or whatever. I mean, is that normal to have truck traffic in a residential area, or?
There are restrictions on usually weight or axles, especially in residential neighborhoods. If somebody experiences, other than a moving truck or something like a trash truck, if they're sensing that there's some type of commercial trucking activity or vehicles that are too heavy, too large for that neighborhood, they should feel free to call our code compliance
or get a picture
or our
of
police.
The license or get the license plate.
Sure.
Absolutely, because it could be bad GPS. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, turn here and go there, and then all of a sudden you're in a cul-de-sac, and you've got a 40-foot semi. But I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad I asked you that. Now, also, let's see. We've got Now, I guess last night with the council meeting, you said that there was a lot of lively conversation, a lot of business was addressed, and you had a change in the ordinance as far as homeless shelters go.
That's right. Thanks for bringing that up. The homeless shelter we have out on Harvard Boulevard that's operated by Spirit of Santa Paula was at a capacity of 30 people max, and the council was able to change that based on a formula that's used throughout the state, which is a square footage number per person, per occupant. And so I think they'll now be allowed to go up to about 44 people. And that could grow or contract if the size of the space changes.
Absolutely.
And so the other thing that was important about that ordinance change is to allow that shelter, since it's emergency shelter, to be year round and not force it to close, summertime.
Sure. In other words, it's no longer just a warming shelter; it's a year-round shelter.
Right. And especially with COVID, that's super helpful to our population that is homeless and is actively either working or looking for a place to live. Spirit has placed close to 20 people already this year into permanent housing, which is really remarkable.
That's wonderful.
And that's truly their goal, is to find housing for everyone.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful, because sometimes they just need somebody to take an interest and give them a hand and help them find the resources. And so I'm really pleased. Yeah, they do wonderful work, Spirit of Santa Paula. They deserve tons and tons of credit, Yeah. So anything else you'd like to discuss today?
Well, it's going to be super hot this weekend, Labor Day. So, a few weeks ago when we had high heat, we went ahead and opened up a cooling shelter in our community center. We tried to advertise it, but nobody showed up. So we're not going to do that this weekend, but I just encourage people to, be careful, take care of yourself, and find some shade. Find some spots that have some air conditioning, and just be well.
Absolutely. And I know that also they're really recommending that people just veg, you know what I mean, as far as it goes, but also they don't want anybody to use any large appliances between about 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. because they're so afraid of what the effect it'll have on the utility that they want to save all that power for air conditioning. So don't use any large appliances. I won't be over. I won't bring my laundry this week.
Okay.
But Okay, anything else
Good.
going on we should know about?
I think that's about it. We've got a lot of number of important items and initiatives coming up later in September, and look forward to covering those the next time I talk to you.
Okay, great. Well, listen, always a pleasure to see you, and stay well.
Thank you. You too.
And have a wonderful holiday weekend. And I know, as all of us, you probably get less holiday and weekend than a lot of people. But anyway, do take it easy, stay cool, stay
Thank you,
calm,
Peggy.
and stay well. Okay. And everybody out there, you all have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. No gathering, unfortunately. That's what the county said, and I agree with them. And you can see this on kadytv.com.net also, I might add. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps us bring you more of this broadcasting. And also on City Channel, Cable Channel 10, Spectrum Cable Channel 10, and that's the city's channel. And you can also watch reruns of the council meeting, and that's a good thing too. So anyway, everybody have a wonderful holiday weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too.